This video is for problems 17 and 18 from the Chapter 3, Section 1 review. The directions are to simplify, and they want to make sure that we rationalize the denominator. So we're going to look at number 17 first. The problem states 1 divided by 4 minus 2 radical 3. The thing we need to pay attention to is that we have a binomial in the denominator. Remember to simplify, or we can never have an irrational number in the denominator, and because we have the square root of 3, that is an irrational number, so we need to get rid of it. The way we get rid of it here, though, when we've got a binomial, is we have to make sure that we multiply by the conjugate. Remember, if you have 4 minus 2 radical 3, right? Its conjugate would be 4 plus 2 radical 3. That's the value that we would want to multiply by in order to make this a difference of squares in the bottom. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to multiply the bottom by 4 plus 2 radical 3. And we're going to do the same thing on the top because this has a value of 1, so we're not really changing the value of the expression. So our next step here would be to go ahead and multiply it through the top and the bottom. Top's pretty easy, right, because we've got just a 1 that we're distributing through. So that should remain 4 plus 2 radical 3 on the top. On the bottom, right, we're going to FOIL it out. But remember, this is like saying a minus b times a plus b. So rather than multiplying out all 4 parts, we know this is going to end up equaling a squared minus b squared. So we can just square the a and subtract the b squared. So in this case, a is 4, so we're going to have a 4 squared minus our 2 radical 3 squared. And so the outer and inner terms, right, when we're foiling there, would have canceled out. So what we have right now is 4 plus 2 radical 3 on the top. On the bottom, 16 minus 2 squared times radical 3 squared. So that's going to be 4 times 3, which is 12. So 16 minus 12, that's going to give us 4. So we have 4 plus 2 radical 3 all over 4. Now in this case, we can actually simplify this down a little bit more, right? Let's give each term in the numerator its own denominator. Right, so we have 4 fourths plus 2 radical 3 fourths, which is going to give us 1 plus, this would be radical 3 over 2. And that is the answer we're looking for. All right, let's go on to 18. This one, we're squaring a binomial. So this really just means 3 times the square root of 5 minus the square root of 15 times itself. So in this case, it doesn't look like any of the radicals would simplify, so we're going to go ahead and just FOIL it out. We'll do our 3 radical 5 times 3 radical 5, or that's 3 radical 5 squared. Then we're going to do 3 radical 5 times a negative radical 15. So this one's going to be a minus 3 times radical 15 times 5 would be 75. Then we're going to do the next terms. We've got negative radical 15 times 3 radical 5 would be a negative 3 radical 75. And then the last terms, right, negative radical 15 times negative radical 15 would be a positive radical 225, or which would simplify to 15. And let's go ahead here and look to simplify down. So 3 squared times radical 5 squared would be 9 times 5, or 45. Here we've got minus 6 radical 75. I'm going to go ahead and just combine them right now. I know these simplify down, but I'll go ahead and combine them together. Then we'll simplify it after. And I'll bring down my plus 15. So 15 and 45 does give us 60. and then minus 6 times, and this would be 25 times 3, which would be minus 6 times 5 times radical 3. So when we simplify, we get 60 minus 30 radical 3. And that's as far as that one goes too. So these are problems 17 and 18 from the Chapter 3, Section 1 review. If you have questions, make sure you reach out. Thanks for watching.